Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened beings worldwide. I am Mari, and I am really excited about our show tonight. You know, we had taken a good while off from the radio show because we're so focused on the big World Telesummit that we were producing for well over a month in May. And we had some amazing speakers on who participated in the Telesummit. And there's a few that always stand out amongst the rest. You know, the cream rises even higher to the top because I only let the cream of the crop on the show anyway. But there are a few that really, really stand out, and not just with myself, but with all of you. And so tonight I've asked Master Energy Healer Rudy Hunter to join me for what I call going beyond the Telesummit. And today is a really good day for that because we're getting to a time this year, in the year, right? We're halfway through the year now, if you can believe it. And we're getting to a time where we're shifting gears. We're coming up on the summer solstice. We have a big, huge, super full moon coming up on June 23rd. The solstice, I believe, is on the 21st. And so we're shifting gears. We're going from the spring and that sort of rebirthing energy, that, you know, coming up from the darkness of the winter into the dog days of summer, right? That maturation process. We talked about this a lot last week. And so one of the things that I personally have found is that it's really important, as you always hear me say, to have very high standards of energetic hygiene, spiritual hygiene, I call it, energetic hygiene. And part of that spiritual hygiene is managing your energy, understanding, first of all, how energy works, that we go way beyond our physical bodies, that we have our infinite self and, of course, our energetic aspects of ourselves. And just like we manage the physical, our physical bodies, we take showers, we brush our teeth, and all those kinds of things. It's really important to manage our energy, especially now after what we've all the shifts and changes in the whole new energetic grid that showed up last year. Well, it's been building for many decades, but you know, we're in a different time now. So what I've personally found is that I wanted to get rid of all the old stuff. I wanted to weed the garden, if you will, to clear the crops, all the old, you know, corn husks and everything that was in my field, and start fresh. And I went on kind of a worldwide search for the right folks to help me. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, just doing these shows. I've been on the air for well over 3 years now, and seeing a lot of people, many of whom I don't share with you, and of course some of whom I do. And I say that because I'm very selective with who I will refer to you, just because I don't want to ask you to do anything that I personally haven't done myself. So as I sorted through and I started thinking, okay, what's next? And I was asking my guides, as you know, I always say, what's next for everybody? You know, we've reached over 3 million people with that telesummit that we just did. And we get, you know, we had over 20, I think we ended up with like 25 speakers. I think we did close to 30 sessions because we had repeats and things. And tens of thousands of people, listening in and replays, we lost count. And so, but when you're dealing with a telesummit level of information, it gives you kind of what I call a sampler, right? And of course, for me, I do master classes, so we give you a lot of meat. We try to, I always like beg the speakers, bribe them, whatever. Please give us good stuff. I don't want just a little pitchy sales thing. I want the good stuff. Give me the good. I had actually several of them change their packages when they were presenting them to me. I was like, nope, that's not good enough. I need more. So the next step, though, after Telesummit, when we introduce you to all of these potentials, is to choose a few to go deep, because you can't get that long-term life-changing information just from a 90-minute call that's, free on the show, and you listen to it over and over again and hope you can, get a snippet of that and a snippet of this. And a lot of people like to sort of bounce around and grab this and grab that and, swap with friends and things. But that will not get you to the big thing that we all want in our lives. That's not going to get you as far and as quickly, as far, let's see, how do I say that? As far and as rapidly as far. Oh, gosh, that's terrible, Mari. Terrible. But, it's not going to give it to you in the most efficient manner, okay? The best way to do it is to choose someone who you really believe in and that you really respect their work, respect it enough that you feel, even if you're of the cloth, which a lot of you listening to this show are. I know we have very advanced light workers who listen on our shows, and I love that. We have leaders of leaders in most cases, or people who are ready to become leaders of leaders, or leaders of, the masses as well. So it's important for you to choose someone that you feel and is better than you, is really, really, really good, so that you can sort of surrender to their expertise. You can say, you know what, for this hour with this particular energy person or this particular practitioner or this particular teacher or mentor, I'm going to let myself receive. And the only way that we can receive is with trust. And I was looking for a very long time. My life has not been the easiest of paths. Usually when you're a leader, especially a leader that's going to be in front of, millions of people, you get put up to a lot of tests. You get put up, you don't have that kind of, 9-to-5 lifestyle. And when you go off that beaten path and you're pioneering, you kind of get stuck with a lot of thorns as you go, right? You're taking the machete and whacking through and creating new pathways so that you can hopefully lead other people. But while you're doing that, you're getting cut up pretty bad. And so those things add up. Well, I went on a quest, and I found through a dear friend of mine, Sue Fellows. You guys probably know her. She has a wonderful telesummit as well. She referred Rudy to me. And I'm taking you guys through a little bit of the medium length of this story just because I want to really give Rudy his just due, but I also want to tell you how much I believe in his work. So Sue said, Mari, as we were, I was like vetting out all these different people and pretty much auditioning speaker after speaker after speaker for the last summit. She says, this guy, a lot of people don't know him, but every time I listen to his stuff, something massive changes. I mean, like, it's within the same day. And that's not normal, okay? And I just listen, and I feel better, and something shifts, okay? Something shifts, and I said, okay. She says, not a lot of people know him, but the people who do can't get enough. And I said, you know what? I don't know. I just kept hearing, talk to Rudy, talk to Rudy, talk to Rudy. So I followed my intuition. Now, I had some huge speakers on. We had people who are, Bob Proctor, The Secret, movie deals, and all kinds of stuff. And here comes Rudy, the little engine that cooks. And the minute I listened to him for maybe 10 minutes. I actually, Sue shared a recording with me, and I said, wow, there was something about his energy. It was something that it was like almost like a knowing. And this is what I want you to really listen for when you're listening to people, in considering bringing them into your fold to help you to take your own personal quantum leap. That's a really, really important person in your world, whoever you choose to listen to, and whoever you choose to allow into your energetic space in an intimate way to help you to heal. It's really important that you choose that person who's that surgical glove fit, just like you would choose your doctor or your dentist or your surgeon you want to choose that person or that team of people. And I think you need to have your own personal dream team. I've created that for myself. So Rudy is one of my top master healers that I chose to work with. And after I went through just a little bit of his work, I bought everything, just about everything he had. I bought it. And I went on my own, and I listened and I listened and I listened. And then I asked him to give me several private sessions. And in addition to him, I have a few other Dream Team members for different aspects of our world. We have different things that we need, body workers and energetic healers and master teachers. But Rudy's work has completely shifted so many major aspects of my own personal life. And so I have asked him to join us this summer to do a 4-week Going Deeper Midsummer Power Booster class, of course. Okay, and I'm only mentioning this at the top of the show because I want you to really, really understand why we're doing this class. Because I personally, and I am endorsing, I am personally saying that what you're going to hear tonight and what you're going to experience is the real deal. This is the real deal. I've personally experienced it myself. Now, does everybody receive work from a particular practitioner the same way? Absolutely not. So if this doesn't feel right for you, then so be it, okay? But I can say that after being in this field since 1986 and going through a tremendous, I've worked with just so many people that you know and don't know over the years. Rudy is one of the best of the best. So I wanted to just say thank you, Rudy. Welcome. And are you ready to live up to all of that now? I should say hello.
Yeah, it's great to be here, but no pressure. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no pressure.
Very sweet.
But it's absolutely the truth.
Well, thanks. That's just the nicest introduction I've ever had. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And you've earned it, and you've earned it honest, and I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done with me, and now I'm really looking forward to sharing you with everybody. And we have a lot of people on our show today who obviously would like to speak with you themselves to get a little bit of your wisdom.
Sure.
Before we do that, I just want to give everyone the call-in number if you're listening and you would like to speak with Rudy tonight yourself and ask him a question and get a little, energy help yourself. You can call in at 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. And you guys know generally how our show works. Sam is going to check in with you for those of you who are calling in to ask questions. We're not taking, unlike the telephone, we're not taking written questions tonight. So if you want to ask a question, you need to call in on that number, okay? Because we don't have like a web. I don't have the technology to be bouncing back and forth with the web questions. So Rudy, let's start at the top. Let's just talk a little bit about your story and how you. I'd like to talk a little bit about how you got started in this, because you have a very cool story. And then I'd like to get into actually what energy actually is, so that just in case there's people listening who are just curious and kind of new to all of
Sure.
this or new to your work. So why don't we start with your story?
Sure. The compressed version of my story is that I started as a professional dancer and magician very early on in life, and my goal was that I was going to be a performer. And I had a nasty back injury during a dancing performance that immediately curtailed that career. I went on to become a professional magician, and I did that for years very successfully. Had a great time, got invited to lots of cool parties I probably shouldn't have been invited to. And I had this problem of needing to rehab my back. So I stumbled into body work out of necessity because I needed to repair myself. And in the process of rehabbing myself, I discovered I had not only a knack for body work, and I think that's from being a dancer. You're pretty tuned into where your body is in space. You know that.
Yep.
So I thought, wow, this is cool, and I like this, and I understand the bod, so I could probably learn this, and I did. Being a slightly compulsive personality, I studied everything under the sun. I still do. I still take bodywork classes just because the bodywork stuff is awesome. But the plan was I got really good at bodywork. Then I went on to become a teacher of bodywork. And then I became really an expert, where the people I had trained who, when they had clients who they couldn't fully get better, they'd sort of send them to me or bring them along, and I'd teach my students and the people I trained what they missed, and we'd get the person fixed up, and things were great. And I thought, once again, well, this is it. This is what I'll do. And that was the plan, and it was very successful. And I live in the country in the woods, so I not only got to do bodywork on people, but I'm a lifelong crazy animal lover, so I got to do bodywork on cows and horses and goats and bunnies and dogs and you name it. So that was pretty neat. And that was supposed to be the plan for, I guess, the rest of my life, I was thinking. And then I got introduced to a succession of spectacularly nutty people. These were people who were dowsers and swung pendulums and waved their hands, and qigong people that sent energy, and just the craziest people I'd ever met. And I would have dismissed them because if you're a magician, you're a hardcore skeptic because you know all the tricks, right?
Yep.
But I saw these people, these sweet, nutty people, fix people and animals, some of them at a distance, some of them with no touching at all. And they got better results with their craziness than I could get with my very in-depth bodywork skills. So a part of my brain said, I have got to know what this crazy stuff is. And it was more, I came at it very reluctantly because I didn't believe in the world of what I now call woo-woo or energy work. I was a sensible person. I can't even say that with a straight face anymore. I was rational and sensible, and that's really the very strange, circuitous route that led me to working with people. I dipped my toe in doing long-distance sessions years ago and gradually increased them, and eventually I went on to find out that I'm actually better at a distance than I am in person, and I was pretty darn good in person. So that's sort of how we got to today. And I'm just lucky now I get to work with people, thanks to technology, all over the world, and animals all over the world that I could never get to in person. So that's really wonderful.
Yeah, it is, and it's amazing. And I can say from firsthand, it works, and we've just met over the phone. So
right.
Yeah, and it really does, and the recordings work as well. So let's talk about what energy actually is from your point of view. I know that every energy person describes it differently, I found.
Yeah.
But from your point of view and from what you've learned, what is it, and where do we begin with this?
It's a great question. I don't have a good answer.
Good.
But I can I can point you in a couple of directions that will explain it to you without me going, well, my theory is such and such.
Right.
There are two things I like to point out to people. The first is we all know the experience of falling in love.
Yeah.
That falling in love feeling has over the years tried to be dissected and explained by sociologists, neurochemists, clever people, not so clever people. We've all had a whack at explaining what that is, that excitement, that adrenaline, that delirium that comes over us. That's really the most palpable evidence we have that there is something when the stars are right, or when you're wearing a slinky top, or when you're 20 and stupid, or whatever the circumstances are, this thing comes alive and you can feel it. And you can feel it so much that it makes you a little nauseous and lovesick, and it keeps you up at night, and you hallucinate, and you barely eat. It changes all kinds of things. So there's a really easy demo or proof of what energy is. And then the other thing I like to point out to people is that this is the same example I use for proof of energy as I do for proof of God. Now, if the word God bothers you, just use your internal translator and translate it into whatever that is for you. I can call it anything. It's what I call it doesn't change it, but the proof that there is that can be seen in my favorite examples are babies and kittens and puppies, because they're adorable. And there is something, in quote unquote, something that animates them. It's the thing that gives them not only life, but it gives them their cuteness.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that animates you and I. Mm-hmm. But, some days we have a bad hair day, we're not so cute. Other days the hair is good and we feel fabulous. But it's very easy to see in youth, whether that's a baby kitten or a puppy or a baby. What that is the most perfect demonstration of what energy is. Mm-hmm. Or what God is. And the neat addition to that is we can harness that force and we can do some neat things with it. That's the best explanation I think I have.
Well, it's a pretty good one.
Well, thanks.
I love it. So when we're talking about our physical self versus our energetic self, there's definitely management of that energy that I think is important. And I think you agree, because we've been working on this for me for weeks and weeks. But one of the things that we hear so many people say, and we heard it all over the telephone, I don't think there was any speaker that came on that didn't say, I will help you clear your block. I will help you. The reason why the law of attraction doesn't work is because you're blocked. The reason why you don't have your husband is because you're blocked. The reason why you're not thin is because you're blocked. The reason why you don't have any money is because you're blocked. The reason why you can't sleep at night is because of a block. The reason why you don't get along with your mother is because of a block. And whatever I do, I'm going to help you to let go of your block.
Right.
So, can we talk a little bit about these blocks?
What's a block?
And what they really are?
Sure.
And do we need to clear every single thing in order to have results? That's this type of thing. Let's just start off with what they are and why it's important to get clear.
So let's take a really specific example, because if we try and do every block for every category, we're just going to get quagmired out.
Right.
Let's pick a topic. So what area do you want to talk about a block? And by the way, this is translatable to every specific area, but it'll just be easier if we pick a specific one. So you want to do love, money, career, purpose? What do you fancy?
Well, I think a universal question for people is money. So let's do, and I'm sure as you should see the number of questions coming in right now. So I'm sure the loved one will show up within all of these lovely ladies who are waiting to talk to you. I'm sure someone will have a question about relationships. So we'll probably get to a chunk of it. But money. Let's start off with money. Okay.
So let's talk about money blocks. There are all kinds of them, and they're called different things. There's the I don't have enough money block, or I'll never make as much money as my father did block, or we're poor but we're spiritual block. They are categorized as different things, and they're very real. This is not to diminish them, but that's one level of working with a block. It's a very relatively time-consuming area because you're always skimming the first few feet of the surface. One of the things I love about you in particular is you like to jump in the deep end right now. There's no faffling about with you, which I adore. So when you want to go after money blocks, or any block for that matter, my preference also is to dive deep. And what that means is you want to find the cluster of really hot, painful beliefs, the things that drive every other expression of those blocks. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to dive there in a second, but let me give you the best analogy I've been able to come up with for a block. You're driving in the country, it's raining, it's muddy, mud splashes on your windshield, and you go, oh my God, I can't see where I'm going. That's a block. Mm-hmm. You can wait for the rain to stop, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can wait, but it might be 3 days, and you could be late. You might miss the important thing you're going for. The easiest possible thing to do is get that muck off the windshield. And here's why this analogy is so good. All you have to do is either get out and clean it off yourself, or flip the switch, make your windshield wipers, clean it off. The second the mud is off the windshield, instantaneously you can see where you're going again. It can be that quick in terms of resolution. Mm-hmm. So when we're dealing with a block, there isn't any more need to spend 20 years screaming and punching pillows like we used to do in the 80s. Right. I miss the 80s. But we don't have to do that anymore, as fun as it was. Mm-hmm. So let's get back to diving deep. If you have 100 beliefs about money, consider yourself lucky. Most of us have way more than that. Yeah. But I guarantee you, we all have 3 or 5. Some of us with extraordinary money issues have 10 of the kind of belief that are literally on fire and burning us all the time. Those are the ones that we work on first, or the ones that I work on first with people. Because even as we start to work on those, the lesser beliefs are connected directly to them. And even without fully resolving those, and we pretty much resolve them pretty quickly, but just the starting actually helps eliminate a lot of the lesser beliefs because they're all connected. Right.
So you don't have to go and micromanage yourself or become consciously aware of every single block.
Right.
And this is going to be, this actually segues into a little, it's not going to be too much of a tangent. It's just kind of a sidebar to this because we have very advanced people on these calls. And I think the more advanced people get in the energy stuff, because a lot of energy stuff is not new to a lot of listeners here. But one of the things I find with even some of my friends and, colleagues and stuff is that we can get pretty fancy with what our blocks are and why things can't change. We can get where the block, sometimes we don't want the block to go away because we're scared of what we're actually asking for. So
that's correct.
And I see, some people really are very, I was saying it to my friend today, I was like, it's like, very cool to be. It's almost like you get used to a certain amount of pain in your life. You get used to, and this was a major thing that happened. I had a massage, and my body had just been so, knotted up and stuff in the past. And when I got to this massage after doing all this energy work and having all these breakthroughs over the last few weeks, I said, "Oh my gosh, I expected her to put one hand on my back and this place and that place, and I expected to feel pain. My rhomboid trap was going on. There was no pain, none, no pain anywhere." Right. And and I was like, okay, I'm going to find the pain. The pain's going to be here, and I'm looking for the pain. Yeah. Like for an hour. Where's the pain? Wait a minute. Yeah. Where's the pain? And we get really attached to our stories, and we get really attached to our blocks and our negative thought patterns, and we get fancy words around them, and then all kinds of processing that has to happen, because if we don't do that, we'll have to go to the gym. Or if we don't do that, if we don't have our blocks, then we'll actually have to go and start the business or whatever that thing is. Can you talk a little bit to that, and then we can get into maybe if you have something tangible we can do to start the process? That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, there are two categories of people, and I'll be the first one to say I'm in both of those categories, that are particularly prone. Well, three categories. Three categories of people that are particularly prone to that. The first is psychotherapists. Love good ones. And bad ones of anything annoy me anyway. So I'm not a psychotherapist, but good psychotherapists are great. But that's the milieu they work in. So we understand that they can get hooked into that. The other two categories of people are healers and spiritual seekers, and I'm in both categories. So I'm very aware of what you're talking about. That there is this impulse to keep alive either the story or the inverse of the story, which is equally as destructive, which is the vacuum we create from being without it.
Yeah.
There's a fear, especially as healers, that if we enter into that vacuum state or shift or change that in any way, we'll suddenly become impotent or less powerful, or some of us actually believe we'll cease to be, that our function will be no more. It's an annihilation paradigm.
We lose our hard edges. We lose our walls. And then it's soft, and then everything's possible, and then it's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I have to be vulnerable, And so when people say, does this stuff work, and that's one of the reasons why I brought it up, and we have, both not just today's call, but 4 weeks ahead of us to get into all the nitty-gritty of this type of thing, but I just bring it up because as we start to take callers, a lot of times I've found on my shows that people start to go back and forth with whoever's trying to answer their question. But I tried that, but I did that, but I didn't, and hold on to it. And a lot of people also try to compete with their misery, and I'm just bringing this up to the surface, so we get rid of it before we get into opening up these lines, It's like, but you don't understand. My story is so much worse than yours. And I tell people when they do that to me, I'm like, you win. I'm not going to try to get the trophy for that. Tell me how miserable you are.
Yeah, our pain is very addictive. It's very addictive. And when we're in the midst of it, we will, because that's such an offensive thing to hear, when we're in the midst of it, we will start to lean in and defend it harder and harder and harder. Mm-hmm. What we fail to see, even when we're not in the grips of it, is that that's the direct path to suffering. There is no shorter path. And I have lots of healer friends, and I mean, I'll tell you, I'm so thankful to know these people, because these people are the kind of people who you could happily give your wallet to hold while you go in swimming. They are the most open-hearted, lovely human beings. And we've all talked about this, and we all know as a group, we have been on the other side of the healing paradigm. A lot of us have been victimized. A lot of us have been wide open energetically. We've been over vulnerabilized. I don't think that's a real word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And some of us have come from horrifying pain. So because we know both sides, it's a very delicate dance to stay neutral. Neutrality is one of the hardest things for people, and it's also one of the hardest things for healers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's a little tip: if you want to work with a good healer, you want to find the most neutral one. That's just a little benchmark. One of the things I have learned and eventually prided myself on was the fact that not much phases me, and it's not because I don't.
I tell Sue all the time, like, the man is unflappable. I can say anything. It's like, okay. So, are you done now? Okay, moving on. Like and that's what you guys. That's what you want. That's what you want when you're going to put all of your big stuff in someone's hands to help you to work through it. Because ultimately, you are your own healer. It's facilitating healing. But when you are going to do that, you really want somebody who's not going to freak out. I have somebody else who says, oh, my God, I can't believe these crazy clients that come to me. It's unbelievable. You think something's wrong with my energy, that they're all so awful? You know, like, okay, wait, stop. You know, you're completely different from that. I mean, it's just like, and that way it allows the person, myself included, to swing as far as we need to swing emotionally, because we're like that net underneath the trapeze. Unbelievable.
Well,
it's the truth. God knows
very,
it's the truth.
It's very sweet for you to say, but I can tell you where that comes from, because I mean, I know the folks that are your audience. Let's face it, they're our peeps. These are the folks who are doing all of the hard work, who've come from hard backgrounds.
Yep.
And I'll tell you where that comes from, because most of the folks who are listening, who will ever listen to this, who will ever have an interest in it, know the place from where that springs. That springs from pain.
Yep.
So, right. So when someone, I don't have a light and fluffy practice. I actually probably have a more severe practice than most folks, because I tell everybody to go try everything else first. And then if it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work fully, come and work with me, because the peripheral fluffy stuff will get taken care of in the other stuff you're going to work with. And then you and I are going to sit together, and we're going to take on the tough stuff. But that's where the fast healing can come from, when you're ready to do that diving in deep work.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that. I just got a vision, a clairvoyant vision, and it's just an analogy. It's kind of like when you're going into your own firestorm of your own self, and we all have it. Everybody has it. Everybody has it.
Yep.
It's like a horse in a burning barn. You know, you need that person to come blindfold the horse, help him to kind of get to safety, you know, without running back into the burning barn. But you have to trust and be willing to, like, and I know that's how I felt with you our first session. Remember that? I'm like, oh, you're killing me. Oh, you're killing me. I'm like, no, it's okay. You're not going to die. Oh, no, you're killing me. You are killing me. No, I'm not. Keep going. And you know, but it was true. It was literally like you had to be willing. You're like, you wanted to go deep, so here we are. Like, OMG, I didn't even know it was that deep. I can't see the bottom of the pool. but so when people are listening to this, and we're probably terrifying everybody now, so I'm not trying to terrify anybody. That's just my personal experience. But I want you to just know that then it goes away, you know, and that's the thing. It almost feels like an instant. Because it's so visceral, and it's like pulling the weed from the real roots. I know we can. And I'm going to tangentize it too much. So let's get to something practical for folks. Do we have and then we're going to start taking some calls. Can you give us I know you have everything from 2 minutes to 40 minutes, you know, as far as different types of clearings and things. And I've done, I would say, probably 90% of probably what you have, at least from what I know is in existence. Is there any one particular tool that you could offer on the call that folks could receive some boost around money right now?
Sure, absolutely.
Or clearing or whatever you think is best.
Yeah, let's do a little clearing piece here. And we're going to do it on and I'm going to broaden this out a little bit because it'll be much more useful. You may or may not have noticed that issues with money never show up on their own. Money is always attached to people, whether it's your brother-in-law, your employer, your lawyer, or the folks you work with or for or on contract to. There's always people attached to the money issues. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do a little clearing piece, and the way to get the best bang out of this is I'd like you to bring to mind, while I do some silence, and I'll do that in a second, you're going to bring to mind a place where money feels really stuck in your life at the moment. Not where you had trouble 10 years ago, and not where you're anticipating trouble a month or two from now, but right now today, as you're listening to this, where does money feel tight or uncomfortable or restricted or unbalanced? That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
So I'd like you to hold that in mind and get the feeling of what that feels like to you, because we're going to judge this on the feeling after we're done. I'm going to go silent for about a minute, and on radio, a minute always feels like an hour, but
yes.
it's really
it's okay.
It's really only a minute. And during that time, I'm just going to do some energetics to sneak around the back of the money issue that's connected to the people issue. And you don't have to understand anything about that. I'll drive the bus on this. All right,
okay.
So if you'll hold that in mind, everybody get your issue together, and I'll be back to you in just a minute's time. Here we go. Okay, and you can just bring your attention gently back. And what I want you to do is very simple. Just lean back into the same feeling around the same issue and just notice what's different, and whatever you notice is fine. And Mari, if you would guinea pig for us and let us know your experience, that would be great.
You know, it's funny. I always go in, and what I heard was money and safety. You know, like as I grow my business bigger, you need more. And I find that it's kind of like sometimes you want to stay small because you know it's safe and you know, okay, you can create flow this way, but you know that you need to go to a whole other level to do what you see that's right before you to do next. So what I was feeling, that's what I was hearing, money and safety, money and safety, money and safety. And it felt a little in my chest, you know, kind of like in that heart space, a little anxiousness, a tad, and now it feels like it's, usually it feels like a prick, and then when we do this work, it feels like it dissipates, kind of like an ink, you know, a little drop of ink going into water and just breaking down. That's how it feels.
Nice. Good. So you are very tuned in and very immediate, and not everybody's going to have the same experience that you will have. Some will have it differently. And some folks won't notice much in this time, in the minute or so while we were sitting together. But here's what I know from experience, that it's sort of like taking a thread out of a sweater. You just keep pulling, and eventually it just completely unravels. So sometimes that takes a few minutes or a few days, even sometimes a few weeks. But whatever your experience was, just notice it. I mean, I always like to tell people it's fun to write down in your calendar, you know, when we did this work, because this was actually the start point of that for a lot of folks who are listening. So you can actually go back in your calendar and go, oh, yeah, at that interview, he did that crazy woo-woo thing about the cash, and oh, look at that. In the coming couple of weeks, things got better. It's just a fun way to really notice. So great.
Awesome. Well, that's really, really good. And I'm going to see are you ready to take a few questions? Because we have a lot of folks who've been very patient.
Sure.
Okay, Sam, hopefully you're still around. But why don't we start with Elizabeth there he is. Okay. Elizabeth in Los Angeles. Hi, Elizabeth. Hopefully you're still there.
Hey.
Don't say anything yet. Hi there. How are you?
Good. I can hear you. Hi, Marianne.
Okay,
hi, Rudy.
Good.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. What's your question today?
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking my question. My question would be around the area of money. And it's in what area of work to pick. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I want to get out and start doing something professionally now. And I almost feel like I'm can't pick an area, and whenever I play with money, it's almost like I'm self-sabotaging myself. Like I almost, I'll put money on the stock that's going up, and an hour before it goes down, that I will put money there, and then it, happened a couple of times, and then everything, cuts in half. I almost feel like I'm self-sabotaging myself. So.
Okay. Well, welcome to the human race. Many of us like to shoot our own feet off, and some of us use money, and some of us use credit cards, and it's great fun, but not very productive. Yeah, whatever's handy. We'll use that to hurt ourselves. So buried in that glib little remark is the impulse to want to hurt ourselves.
Okay.
So,
Elizabeth, there's some interference there.
Is that a little one?
Yes, that's a little one.
Yay. So one of the fun things about that impulse to want to hurt ourselves is we can actually pay attention to that, and some pretty neat things can happen. And I'll give you just a little conscious thing you can do before we do a little woo-woo around it. You can start paying attention to the impulse you have to want to do... Oh, it's like a party. The impulse you have to want to harm yourself.
Okay.
So what you're looking for is a back-of-the-head voice that expects you to harm your body.
Okay.
You with me so far?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It actually hit home the second you said that.
Oh, good. So for the folks who are still going, what is he talking about? This voice tells us, oh, careful on the stairs because you might trip. Or don't drop that, you might hurt yourself. Or be careful of this, be careful of that. It's disguised as care, but it's actually an impulse to do damage.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little piece about that. So, Elizabeth, if I asked you if there was one place in your body that feels the most vulnerable, where would you say that was, just off the top of your head?
My stomach.
Your tummy. Okay. So for everybody on the call, Elizabeth's going to focus on her tummy, but for everybody else, you're going to just ask yourself, where in my body feels the most vulnerable? And whatever comes to mind, that's going to be the place you're going to put your attention. It could be your left elbow, your right butt cheek, your big toe. It could be anywhere. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a very short round, and this will have some crazy mumbling in it. And I'm going to do some mumbling and come on back, and you're just going to compare where we're starting to where we end up in terms of the vulnerability, because it's directly linked to self-sabotage. So, Elizabeth, your attention on your tummy, everybody else on their individual vulnerable parts, and here we go. And there we go. We can bring your attention back. And Elizabeth, if you'd recheck in with your tummy for us and tell us what you noticed that's different.
Oh, it feels like it's lightened up.
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing.
I think it's crazy, but good. That's a little less of the impulse to want to hurt, to be reflexively damaging. So I'll give everybody a tip. You can come back in the recording of our interview, and you can take the different parts of your experience in your body that feel vulnerable or tender, and you can run that short process for each of them in turn, and you'll find that your self-sabotage, or that impulse towards it, will actually diminish and diminish and diminish. So thanks for calling us and being brave.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Take care. Have a great night. So Rudy, you know what and we're going to take some more callers, but I was wondering, could we do a short 1 to 2 minute pulling taffy? The reason why I'm asking is because
Sure.
for me, that's really tangible. Like it's something that I can look at something on my own and say, oh, that would be a good technique to do, as opposed
Absolutely.
to having to come back and listen to the silence. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's something that's like
Yeah.
a tactical tool, or the heart, or whichever
absolutely.
one you think is best. But I think, is pulling taffy a good one for this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pulling taffy
For
is
this
great
type?
fun. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's nice and
then we're going
infantile,
to take
which
some
I
more
love.
calls.
Okay. So here's what I'd like everybody to do. Pick a place in your life. I mean a physical location, whether that's the back of a cupboard or a crosswalk that you cross every day or your front porch, a place that doesn't feel right to you, that somehow feels a little off or makes you feel a little uncomfortable when you're near it. And if you've never considered that, now's your time to consider it. Where in my life do I go that feels a little creepy or weird or off? And just pick whatever comes up. And I'm going to teach you pulling taffy because it's really fun to do. And you need both hands
awesome.
for this. Yeah, it's really kind of silly fun. So I want you to think of that place and how it makes you feel. And then with both hands, like you have a big old gob of taffy in your hands, I want you to stick your fingers in and stretch and stretch and stretch the taffy out in front of you until it snaps, and then you smush it all back into a ball. Now, I know from experience 30% of you are listening and not doing anything with your hands. So here's the deal. You have to do it with your hands for it to have an effect. And don't worry, nobody's looking. So take your hands, stick your fingers in, pull the taffy, let it snap, and smush it back together. Do that a few times, and then I'd like you to start doing that in different directions. So you'll do it left to right, up and down. You'll do it on all the diagonals, thinking about that place that's a little creepy or uncomfortable. And you're just pulling taffy, and it snaps. You smush it back together. That's a highly technical word, smushing. And you just keep going and do it actually with your hands, because this technique doesn't actually work if you just do it mentally. You have to engage your hands. Pull and snap, smush it together, and then stop for a second and re-notice how you feel about that place. And you'll notice that it feels different. In fact, I'll go so far as to say you'll notice it feels better, or at least less creepy.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's weird enough, but we're going to go a little weirder.
Yay.
The deal is that with this thing you've just done, you've actually changed the energetics of that place, meaning your relationship to that place. Now, if you think about that later, your head will go because you shouldn't be able to do that. But it's that easy. But there's a way more useful way to use this. In fact, there's about 1,000 useful ways to use this technique. I want you to pick something in your life that isn't a physical place necessarily, but something that's really painful. But don't pick every painful thing.
Thank you for saying that.
You'll wear your arms out. I want you to pick just one and make it a specific one. It can be a money thing, a relationship thing, my husband is being a pain in the rear thing, anything, but one specific thing. And notice how you feel about it just from thinking about it. Pick something that hurts. Pick up your taffy between your actual hands and start pulling. Just like we did for the space, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to dig your fingers in, pull until it stretches and snaps, smush it back together, and pull it out in every conceivable direction, front to back, this diagonal, that diagonal. And because this is a hotter, more painful issue, you're going to do it for just a little bit longer. So while I'm talking, I'm pulling taffy with you. You pull the taffy. You pull it out, it stretches, it snaps back. Pull, stretch, and it snaps back. And that's all you're doing while you're doing this. You're not trying to fix or change anything. You're just pulling taffy. And then stop for a second and pay attention to the issue that you're working on. And you'll notice that the same phenomena happens. that it's better somehow, either a lot better or a little better. We'll take either, because the deal is you can always do more of pulling taffy. But notice that there's something that's changed. You've actually changed the energetic form of you in relationship to that. So if you're not completely satisfied with the change, you can invest a whole other 20 seconds or maybe 2 minutes in pulling taffy around this issue. I mean, I'll tell you, I do most of my spiritual work during commercial breaks. I'm an avid TV watcher, so the commercials come up, I do some pulling taffy, I do some woo-woo, and, things are good.
Yeah, true.
You can actually clear up most of your past in a couple of days of watching TV, but that's a secret just between you and me. So that's pulling taffy, and it's useful for many more things than you would expect. My gift to you.
Well, thank you. It's an amazing gift, and I actually heard you do that exercise on one of the interviews you had given me to listen to, and I use it all the time. And there was a room in my house that was really heavy energy. Boom, just lifted. So,
yeah.
I want to take a couple more callers, but I also wanted to let everybody know about our new Midsummer Power Booster series that will be starting in July, because
Great.
I'm so excited that you had the time, actually. I know I got the last little tiny slivers of your time. But just quickly, we're not going to go into every little detail. You can read it on the site, and the link. If you'd like to work with Rudy and I this summer, we're going to be doing 4 classes. They'll be hour-long on Mondays, July 8th, and then the 15th, 22nd, and 29th from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be going really deep into all of the stuff that you're hearing tonight. You're getting to sample, the tools like pulling taffy has a zillion of them. We're going to get to a lot of the woo-woo stuff that, we go silent, and the energy, just boosting the energy and applying these different tools to all kinds of areas of your life. We're going to talk a lot about self-love. We're going to talk about money and healing from broken hearts and clearing out blocks. But also, once you've done all this clearing, because a lot of you have done a lot of clearing, what do you do when you're pretty cleared? A lot of times we just keep trying to find more stuff to clear because we don't know what to do with the cleared space. So we're going to get into some tools of what to do with the cleared space once we've cleared it, so that we can actually...
Yay!
the thing. And that's the nice thing about taking the time to do this weekly, and really committing to more of a master course as opposed to just a sampler like you get on a radio show or a telesummit. So here's the link. It's Aha Moments Inc., AHAMOMENTSINC.com. So ahamomentsinc.com /power, POWER, boost, BOOST. So ahamomentsinc.com /power boost. And we are going to be doing an early registration. Actually, early registration started today. We have 20 spots for the early registration price of $297. After the 20 spots are taken, it goes up to regular price of $397, so you'll save $100. And we already have several of those spots purchased before we even got on the air today. So if you'd like to participate in this, Rudy was absolutely one of our top 3 most popular speakers of the summit, and all of our, everybody's getting announcements about this. So very, 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 very popular. And so I'd like you to, if you want a spot in our class, to join us in a much more in-depth way, then please join us and register so you can take advantage of that discount. He'll be working, we're going to have open lines on the call so you can ask your questions, and we try to keep these master courses as intimate as we can, and you'll be able to listen on Skype or online or over the phone. We're going to be using the same platform as we did for the telesummit, and there will be recordings of each call. I know that's going to be a question that everybody be emailing me about, so let me just say, yes, they will be recorded, so if you can't be on a call live, or if the time zone doesn't work for you, you'll be able to take the course with by replay as well as have them for your archive in your spiritual library. So just wanted to let you know that, ahamomentsinc.com/power boost, okay? And that early registration will be going either to the first 20 people who register or those who register before June 20th, so 2020. All right, so I think that was that. Did you want to say anything about that? Rudy?
Just two quickie things. I will be doing a lot of processes that will happen live during the event that will be captured by recording that are not anywhere else. So you'll actually have those
awesome.
in your personal archive library. And the other part of this, it's a way. If I were doing this, if I were participating in the way that I would like folks to participate, I would show up with my big list. I would write out my little list and go, okay, I want to change with this, I want to improve that, I want to get rid of this. I would make a list of 5 things that are biggies, that are a big deal in my lived life, and I would bring that list to the classes. Because here's what I can tell you, the work that we'll be doing, because, you know, Mari and I are not shallow enders. We're going to go do that work, because that's the stuff that counts. That's the stuff that actually helps you express in your lived life. So if you bring your short list, you'll not only be able to ask questions about it, but all of the tools that I'll be teaching you will help you make that list a done deal. So I hope you can join us if you're keen.
Oh, I know just from my experiences with you, it's going to be so worth your time and your investment of your tuition for that as well. So ahamomentsinc.com/power boost. All right, we are getting close to the end of the show, but I wanted to take a couple more calls if we can, just because so many people have been patient enough to wait, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
We have Paris in Alberta, or Paris.
Alberta.
Paris?
Hi there.
Hi. Is it Paris or Paris? Sam likes things on these boards.
It's Paris.
Paris. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. How are you? Welcome.
I am so blessed to be on this call, so thank you. My issue is I have hip issues, actually. I've had pain for a long time, and I've been told I have tendonitis of the hips. So every step I take is painful. So I've been working on a lot of emotional clearing, and I'm wondering if this could be a past life. I'm aware of a lot of guilt in a past life that I might have carried over in this life. I feel I've dealt with this life issues, so just wondering what's your take on that.
Great. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How long's the tendonitis and the hip pain been present?
Oh, it's hard to say.
Give or take.
I had pulled ligaments in my teen years on my left side, so I'm kind of limping now. And more recently, I'd say in the last 4 years, both.
Gotcha. So, Paris, let me ask you, 4 years ago, give or take in your life, what changed?
Divorce.
Guess what we're going to talk about?
Yes.
So, sweetheart, I want to say this with the most delicacy. You know the expression, we were joined at the hip?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so now we're not. So, a couple of questions for you. Are the divorce papers actually signed?
Yes.
Good. That's an important day for anybody who's living through a divorce. That day is very transformative. So you've done that piece, which is important, but your nervous system and your emotional body haven't really caught up with the fact that it was a done deal 4 years ago. That's okay. So today, we're going to help you get caught up.
Okay.
But we're not going to do it through the rational mind, because the rational mind wants things to be different, right? It always wants things to be different. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a very short process, and I'm going to do it with you and with everybody listening. I'd like everybody on the call, along with yourself, to focus on an ending that doesn't feel complete. Because really that's what we're talking about. We're talking about it's technically over, but it's not over. Right? So we're going to bring those two pieces together, and I'm going to do that really quickly so that your mind can't trip us up and everybody's mind can't trip us up. So this can be an ending for everybody else on the call. This can be an ending of a job that didn't end well, or a job you'd still like to have that you don't have, or an old fling, or an old relationship, or a friendship that just isn't fully aligned.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But here's what I want you to promise me, along with everybody else promising me on the call. For the next 30 seconds, when I tell you we're going to start, I don't want you to go back and try and fix anything, because that's our impulse. We want to go, we think, oh, now's the time we have to fix it. So the best possible thing you can do for the next 30 seconds or so is just to let your mind wander. Think about your laundry list or your to-do list, or I always think about ducks and ice cream just because they're fun to think about. Anything at all right? So
all right.
For 30 seconds or so, I'll go silent, and I'll call you back in a second. Here we go. Okay, Paris, would you do me a favor? Just take a nice, easy breath, and everybody on the call will also take an easy breath along with you. Just blow it out. And I don't hear you breathing. Are you taking a breath?
Yes.
Just checking. All right. Just tell me how you feel in this moment.
I feel I let go. I was kind of spinning when you were doing this thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. I will tell you something that is likely for you in the next 3 days. You may occasionally, over the next 3 days or so, have the impulse to cry, even if you're not a good crier or whether you're a fabulous crier.
Master at crying. I've mastered that.
Excellent. I have my PhD in tears. Yay. So keep the Kleenex around, keep the tissues around, let it happen. It's totally fine. You have my permission.
Thank you.
You're actually done, and now your nervous system is caught up to that fact. Here's the other important thing. There's nothing else you have to do about this, which may sound a little shocking, but that's good news. Thank you so much for being brave and calling in.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great night. Take care. Wow. I love that. Isn't it amazing how the body is trying to give us messages literally, so literally.
Yeah.
About
so true.
It's we're gonna definitely have to go over that in the class. One more quick one. So we're gonna because there's just so many. And I hate to leave everybody waiting. Okay, Jane from Albuquerque has been waiting for a really long time. So hi, Jane. Are you still there?
I am.
Yay.
Hi, Jane.
Thank you for your patience. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome. What's your question?
Yeah, I've had chronic migraines for, I don't know, for a long time, and the females in the family get them, coming from my mother's mother, and it just, no matter what I do, I just seem to they always come back.
Okay. Jane, I'm going to presume, but correct me if I'm wrong, have you done all of the sensible things like tested avoiding chocolate and red wine? And
Right.
Oh, yeah. You've been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And things clear up for a while, and then I'll eat. It does seem to be related to what I eat, but it just feels like it's a deeper thing, because especially if I'm in any kind of emotional thing, then I'll start getting one. I feel like I take on that person's angsting, and then the next thing I know, I've got a migraine.
Oh, you sweet, open-hearted, healer-type, lovely person, you. Stop that. If it were only that easy, right?
Exactly.
So, Jane, I'm going to say a phrase that may get a rise out of you. And before I say it, what I'm going to ask you to do is just monitor for yourself when I say this what you notice in your system, okay?
Okay.
Are you tense? I feel like I should have like a little drum roll machine going.
A little bit.
And the phrase is really, how are you with honoring your mother? Now, I don't really need the answer to that question, but I'd like you to tell me what you noticed when I asked.
I feel my heart, or this sort of area opening in my chest, and there's a lot of conflict in just since I was born with her and that sort of thing. I feel like her name is Mary Jane and my name's Jane Mary, and I felt like she named me to finish her business. I'm not even the first daughter or anything.
Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, and so actually right now she's going through this whole thing, and so then, of course, I got another migraine.
Right.
And I don't want it. I sort of avoid her.
So here's something for your conscious mind to chew on, and then we'll do some energetics, because migraines are no fun.
Right.
The phrase that I'd like you just to keep in the back of your head, just to keep your attention on this idea, is that I don't have to honor my mother by making my head hurt. There are better ways. Because fundamentally, that's what you're doing.
Okay.
However, knowing that doesn't really solve the problem. It's just interesting gristle for the conscious mind.
Right, and it's not just her. I mean, I do it with a lot of people.
Sure. Well, you know what they say, practice makes perfect, right?
Right.
So, Jane, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, for you and for everybody else who's listening who wants to participate, because it's a really nice, fun little piece, and that will give you a lot of relief, is we're going to connect your head and your heart in a way they've never been connected before. Because I'm going to let you in on a big secret. They are the same thing. But don't tell anybody. So, here's what I'd like you to do. If you have two free hands, that's great. If you can't wangle it with the phone, do the best you can. If you could put one hand on your heart, or be aware of your heart, and one hand over your forehead, and if you can't wangle that with the phone, just pretend your hand's in both of those places. It'll still work.
Okay.
That actually creates an actual bioelectric circuit between the two of them. That's to get the rest of your body to pay attention that they're actually the same pulse. And I'm going to do, in just about 10 seconds or so, a little woo-woo to make that connection more solid and stable. Give me just a few seconds and I'll be right back to you. Okay, so Jane, you can either take your hands down or just let go of that and tell me what you notice.
I felt like a real squiggly line of energy kind of going between them.
Yeah.
Between my head and my heart.
Cool.
Sort of chaotic.
That's pretty much what I was doing.
Huh?
Good. That's pretty much what I was doing. Good.
Great.
That's
so
awesome.
Here's the deal. You don't have to suffer for your mother. And neither does she have to suffer for you. I promise you that. So be with that and let us know what you notice.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. And listen, I would like to offer something really quick to your listeners, because I listened to you on another call, and I was working on anxiety, and everybody on the call seemed to be going down, and I didn't. And I was, and then the next day it was gone.
Yay!
So I just wanted to offer because it's like, it seems like that maybe it does take longer on certain items.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you. That's so nice.
Wow, that's awesome. That's amazing. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jane. Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks for waiting for so long for the call, too. Really appreciate that.
So nice.
Well, Rudy, I just want to say thank you to you and for tonight and for taking the extra time and just for your willingness to go deep with us. I really appreciate you jumping into at least the 5-foot end of the pool. We haven't even got to the good stuff yet.
Thanks.
We're getting there, though. We're getting there. I'm so excited.
We are.
So, do you have any final? Well, it's not final. It's never final, right? But any for this evening? Parting words of wisdom.
Just really, just a thank you to you for being wonderful, and also thanks for everybody who called in, who just jumped in with us. I think it's a rare, wonderful, delicious group of people who will say, okay, I'm going to pony up and let's go. So thanks to everybody. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And thanks for your willingness to go deep with everybody and give your good stuff and not just hold it back. And it's rare and it's wonderful and it's generous, and I'm so grateful. Again, I hope that all of you listening will join us for the Midsummer Power Boost series, ahamomentsinc.com/Power Boost. And you'll see emails about it, but we'd love to have you join us. And we've been getting registrations, like I said, all day, so we'd love to have you in at least those first 20 spots so you get the great tuition price. And we will be back here next Tuesday, same time, same place. Me and Sam. We'll see what we're going to cook up for you for next week. But in the meantime, I'd like you to always know what I truly believe in my heart, and I say it at the end of every show, which is you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this energy, especially with Rudy, anything is possible. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.